Okay, let's kick things off. Get this number. 41,724%.
Wow.
Yeah, staggering, right? That's Amazon's stock growth after e-commerce really boomed.
Incredible.
And now, if you're watching the AI space and thinking about investing, well, imagine that kind of potential with something called Agentic AI. So today, our mission, it's pretty sharp. Find the potential next Nvidia. We're looking for companies set for, maybe explosive growth in 2025 and beyond as Agentic AI really hits its stride.
Right.
Think of this deep dive as maybe your head start on understanding how you might get in early on what could be a huge tech shift.
And the goal isn't just any growth, it's trying to spot these giants before they have that massive run-up, kind of like Nvidia in its earlier stages.
Exactly, before everyone else piles in.
Yeah. So our approach is really digging into the sources, looking for key players in this agentic AI field. And we're paying special attention to companies linking up with NVIDIA.
Because that NVIDIA connection could be a signal?
It could be a strong indicator, yeah. Those collaborations matter. But we're also looking at a couple of other interesting companies, ones with maybe a unique angle in this space.
Okay, good. So just to level set for everyone listening.
Yeah.
What is Agentic AI exactly? Forget this sci-fi stuff for a second.
Right. It's not about killer robots.
No, definitely not. Think of AI that doesn't just follow orders. It actually makes decisions, learns from them, acts on its own.
Like a super capable assistant.
Exactly. One that anticipates what you need, solves problems, doesn't need constant direction.
And connecting that to the market opportunity, well, the numbers are pretty compelling.
Yeah.
Last year, the market for these agentic AI tools was, around $6.2 billion?
Okay.
Projections, they're talking over $420 billion by 2030.
420 billion.
Billion, yeah. It's an explosive growth curve.
Yeah.
And that really underlines why finding the right players early, well, it could be really impactful for you.
And this is important, right? We need some perspective here.
Absolutely.
We all remember the dot-com bubble. The hype was huge. Valuations went crazy.
And then a lot of companies just vanished.
Exactly. That's the risk here. Not every company jumping on the agentic AI bandwagon is going to make it. Some will definitely fall short.
So careful analysis is crucial. You can't just chase the hype.
Right. So how do we sift through the noise? How do we find companies with, solid foundations and real potential? Especially looking ahead to 2025. That feels like a key time frame.
That's precisely the mission today. We're diving into 7 specific stocks that are source material flags as showing promise in this agentic AI revolution, particularly for that 2025 period and beyond. It's that critical time before potential mainstream adoption really kicks in.
All right, let's get into these potential early winners then. First one up, ServiceNow. Ticker is NNOW. Big company already, right? Market cap around $169 billion.
Yeah, substantial.
So what's their play in agentic AI? They've got things like AI Agent Studio, Orchestrator. What do those actually do?
Well, their core focus is really practical, using AI for business automation, streamlining stuff.
Like what kind of stuff?
Think about making employee onboarding smoother, or resolving IT help desk tickets faster, more automatically.
Okay, real-world business problems.
Exactly. And ServiceNow's strength seems to be offering these holistic solutions. They have pre-built AI agents for common tasks, but you can also customize them, and it's all on one platform.
Which big companies probably like. Unified platform sounds easier to manage.
That's likely the appeal, especially for large enterprises looking for something reliable and scalable for their AI stuff.
And here it is again, the NVIDIA connection. How does that fit into ServiceNow's picture?
Yep, good catch. Since March, they've partnered up with NVIDIA. They're integrating NVIDIA's AI enterprise software.
What does that include?
Things like the NEMO framework that helps build custom AI models more easily, and NIM microservices.
NIM microservices. Those are like prepackaged AI functions.
Sort of, yeah. Optimized AI bits you can plug in easily. The goal of this partnership is boosting productivity, especially in areas like cybersecurity and telecom.
And are they seeing results? Any growth indicators?
Well, what's interesting is their growth with big customers, the ones spending over $1 million with them. That's up 30% in just 2 years.
30%, that's solid.
Yeah. And they're forecasting sales of $13 billion for 2025, which is about 19% growth. Plus, analysts are throwing out numbers like the stock being worth at least $1,100 a share.
So strong confidence there. Okay, next up, a real tech heavyweight. Oracle, ticker OCL. Market cap over $368 billion. This feels like a different kind of bet.
It is. Oracle's the established giant entering the ring. They bring, huge financial scale and that built-in trust factor from being around for so long.
What's their Agentic AI offering look like? Agentic Studio.
Yeah, Agentic Studio, it offers things like blueprints for deploying AI without needing to come faster vector search in their database.
Vector search being key for AI finding info quickly.
Crucial, yeah. And they also have over 50 prepackaged AI agents ready to go for their Fusion business applications.
So they're leveraging their existing software suite.
Exactly. And the really compelling part might be their existing customer base. Decades of relationships with big enterprises. That could let them scale their agentic AI stuff really fast.
And I assume they're also working with NVIDIA.
You assumed correctly. Another NVIDIA partnership here. Integrating that enterprise software stack over 160 AI tools, 100+ NIM microservices.
What about their growth numbers? Slower than ServiceNow.
A bit more moderate, yeah. Expected growth this year is around 7.8% to 8%, hitting about $57 billion in revenue. But the projection is for that to jump next year, maybe to 14%, as agentic AI picks up steam.
In valuation.
Lower price-to-sales ratio, about 6.9x, so maybe a bit more accessible for investors compared to some pure-play AI companies.
Okay, moving along. Cadence Design Systems. Ticker CDNS. They're in chip design and verification. How does agentic AI fit there?
Cadence is using agentic AI quite strategically. They want to automate some of the really complex decisions involved in chip design and basically speed the whole process up.
Which is super important with demand for powerful chips just exploding.
Absolutely. They've had a relationship with NVIDIA for a while, but it got a big boost in March. They're now using agentic AI with NVIDIA's latest Blackwell architecture.
NVIDIA's newest, most powerful chip design.
Right, and the results are pretty impressive already. They've sped up their Spectre X simulator that's a key tool for checking chip performance by up to 10 times.
10 times faster. That's huge.
It is. And get this. They simulated a chip with multi-billion cells using NVIDIA's GB200 GPUs in under 24 hours. That used to take days on traditional supercomputers.
Wow. Okay, so the tech sounds impressive. What about growth forecasts?
Forecast is for about 11% growth this year, reaching $5.2 billion in sales. But valuation-wise, they're a bit pricey, trading at 15 times price to sales.
More expensive than Oracle, less than some others.
Right. So for now, our source puts them on a watch list. Basically, keep an eye on them, see how that beefed-up NVIDIA partnership really translates to the bottom line.
Makes sense. Okay, next, CrowdStrike Holdings, CRWD. Big name in cybersecurity.
Definitely a leader there. Their Falcon platform is widely used.
So how are they using agentic AI?
They've added a generative AI assistant called Charlotte to the Falcon platform. The goal is faster threat detection and response, much faster.
And let me guess, NVIDIA partnership.
You're seeing the pattern. Announced in March, also using NVIDIA's NIM microservices.
Okay, and the benefit?
They claim Charlotte can now detect threats twice as fast.
Twice as fast.
While using 50% less computing power.
That's a significant efficiency gain, especially in cybersecurity where speed matters.
Hugely important. And their growth looks pretty strong. They've got 27% annual growth in recurring revenue.
That's sticky revenue. Good sign.
Very good sign. And they're projecting 20% annual growth overall to hit $4.8 billion in sales this year. The market for cybersecurity is massive, and they're a leader.
Downside. Valuation.
Yeah, it's higher. Trading at 23 times price to sales. So you're paying a premium for that leadership and growth in a critical sector. Many see it as a core holding, though.
Okay, stock number 5. Accenture. Ticker ACN. The global consulting giant. How do they fit into agentic AI?
Accenture is basically betting big on AI across the board. They're leveraging their huge scale, their deep relationships with clients everywhere.
They're becoming the AI implementers for businesses.
That's a big part of it. Look at their numbers. In just the second quarter, they booked $1.4 billion in new deals specifically for generative AI solutions.
$1.4 billion in one quarter.
Yep.
Just for Gen AI.
Yep. And total new bookings were $21 billion. They also have a partnership with NVIDIA going back to October. They're training over 30,000 of their people to help clients actually adopt and scale enterprise AI.
So they're building the workforce to deploy this stuff.
Exactly. Now, their overall company growth is more modest, maybe 5.8% this year, hitting $68 billion in revenue. But those AI booking numbers suggest where the future growth could really come from.
Interesting angle. And valuation.
This is where it gets interesting. Their stock actually took a hit recently, partly due to some government contract changes. So right now, they're the cheapest on this list, relatively speaking. Price to sales is just 2.7x.
So that dip might be an opportunity for someone who believes in their long-term AI strategy.
It potentially could be, yes. Worth a look if you buy into their role as the AI facilitator for big business.
Okay, number 6, UiPath, ticker PTH, often called a pure play in automation. How does Agentic AI enhance that?
Right. UiPath leads in robotic process automation, RPA. That naturally fits with Agentic AI. They're now focusing on orchestrating processes using smarter Agentic AI capabilities.
Aiming for a specific market.
Yeah, they're targeting a $60 billion market opportunity. Their approach involves creating specialized AI agents for specific tasks, things like optimizing pricing for businesses or managing inventory more intelligently.
Do they have a direct NVIDIA link like the others?
Not a high-profile Agentic AI one mentioned in our source like the others we've discussed, but their core business and automation gives them a really strong foundation to build more advanced AI on top of.
Makes sense. What about their growth metrics?
Solid track record, 19% annual growth in recurring revenue. They've been growing their base of large customers too, over 10% last year. But the forecast for this year's growth is slower, around 6%.
Okay. And valuation?
Price to sales is about 4.2x, so it's kind of in the middle. UiPath feels like maybe a higher risk, higher reward play compared to some others.
Needs a bit of a leap of faith that they can really capture that Agentic AI market share and re-accelerate growth.
That's a good way to put it. The potential is there given their automation base, but the recent growth slowdown is something to consider.
All right, last one on the list. Number 7, SoundHound AI, ticker SOU. They're in conversational AI.
Yeah, think voice assistants and conversational interfaces for businesses. They enable AI assistants that can work in 25 languages.
What's the market size they're going after?
They estimate it's huge, around $160 billion.
Wow. Any NVIDIA connection?
It's a bit different here. Nvidia actually invested directly in them previously, but has since sold that stake.
Oh, okay. So no current investment.
Not directly mentioned, but they do still collaborate, especially on SoundHound's chat AI systems for cars.
So like voice assistants in vehicles.
Exactly, using large language models and NVIDIA's Drive AGX platform. You see it in brands like Alfa Romeo and Citroën over in Europe.
And are there examples of their tech making a difference?
Yeah, the source mentioned a 20% productivity boost in a PVO call centers using SoundHound's AI. So, tangible results.
What about growth? Smaller company, right?
Much smaller market cap, yeah, around $3.4 billion. But sales are expected to actually double this year, hitting $161 million.
Yeah, well, that's aggressive.
Very. Then it's projected to slow a bit, but still a strong 22% growth next year. Because it's smaller, there's maybe higher growth potential, but likely more volatility too. Some analysts apparently see it as a favorite long-term AI play.
Okay, so that's 7 really interesting companies. ServiceNow, Oracle, Cadence, CrowdStrike, Accenture, UiPath, and SoundHound. All with different angles on Agentic AI, all potentially poised for growth leading into 2025.
We're a diverse group, for sure.
So as listeners think about these or maybe other companies in this space, what are the key takeaways? How should they analyze potential next NVIDIA candidates?
Okay, a few crucial things to watch. First, look for real success with enterprise clients. Are they moving beyond pilots? Are they signing long-term deals for these agentic AI solutions? That's key.
Proof that the tech works and businesses are buying in.
Exactly. Second, look at the total addressable market, the TAM. How big is the potential pie compared to the company's current slice? Even grabbing a small percentage of a huge market can mean massive growth.
Right. Don't just look at current revenue. Look at the potential.
And third, try to identify what's unique. Do they have proprietary data, a killer app, something competitors can't easily copy? That differentiation is vital long-term.
Good points. Anything else critical for listeners to keep in mind?
Yes, diversification. Cannot stress this enough.
Don't put all your eggs in one AI basket.
Please don't. Even with the best research, some picks won't pan out. Spreading your investment across, say, at least 3 to 5 different agentic AI companies helps build resilience.
Smart.
And finally, beware the hype. We saw it with the dot-coms. We'll see it with AI. Companies will slap AI on everything.
AI washing.
Exactly. You have to do your own homework. Dig deeper than just the name or the buzzwords. Verify the claims.
So where can people start doing that homework if they want to research beyond these 7?
Well, a good starting point could be looking inside major AI-focused ETFs. See who the big funds are holding.
Get a sense of the landscape.
Yeah. Also, investigate the partner networks of the big AI leaders, Nvidia, obviously, but also Microsoft, OpenAI, Amazon, Google's Alphabet. Who are they working closely with? That can be revealing.
Follow the ecosystem.
Right. And you can use AI tools like GPT for initial research, gather ideas, but, and this is crucial always verify the information, check the sources, don't take the AI's word as gospel.
Treat it as a research assistant, not the final authority.
Perfectly put.
Okay, this has been a fantastic deep dive, really digging into the potential front runners for this agentic AI wave, especially looking towards that 2025 timeframe. Feels like a pivotal moment.
It certainly could be.
We've hit on giants like Oracle and Accenture adapting, specialists like CrowdStrike and Cadence integrating AI, pure plays like UiPath, and innovators like ServiceNow and SoundHound.
A really interesting mix. And remember, as you look at these 7 or any others our discussion today, it's really just a launch pad for your own research.
Right.
Use that framework. Check the enterprise traction, gauge the market potential, look for that unique edge, and critically analyze everything. Don't just ride the wave of enthusiasm.
Absolutely. So here's a final thought to leave you with, something to mull over. As this agentic AI gets woven deeper into how businesses operate, what fundamental shifts do you think we'll see? What skills, what job roles will become most valuable in the next decade because of this?
That's a big question. It goes way beyond just stock picks, doesn't it?
It really does. It touches on the whole future of work, the economy, definitely something to think about long after this deep dive ends.